Hey guys, Chris here. So this is number one, first one, of some instructional aid videos that we're going to be making for Transportation Tech. And I'm going for the big head look on purpose. I'm thinking maybe it's going to keep you guys a little bit more engaged. So we're going to be flaring a brake line today. We're going to be making a conventional double flare on a 3/16 brake line. It is the most common union used in conventional hydraulic brake systems found on both imported and domestic vehicles today. Okay, so bear with me, and we're going to get started. Okay, thanks. First of all, what I wanted to do is I wanted to explain what we're actually doing. Okay, so here we go. We have a straight piece of tube. We're going to cut it off. We're going to make it square. In the olden days, we used something called a single flare. The tube came up. We flared it out. This was, and it's still in use. It's used in transmission cooler lines. It's sometimes used in fuel lines. It's used in low pressure applications. These two here are what we call a double flare. This is what we're doing today. We start with this piece of pipe, and the first thing we do is we put a bulb on the end of it. We put a bulb on the end of it in the first step, and then the next step, what we do is we fold that bulb down over itself. And what it does is it winds up giving you a way better sealing surface. It mitigates any issues that this particular flare used to sometimes crack in here. It gets rid of that. It sits on a seat. It clamps down. It affords us a way better union or joint that doesn't leak. So first of all, I'm going to go through the tools required to fabricate or to manufacture a flare in a 3/16 brake line. You're going to need tubing cutters. These guys over here. You're going to when you're doing this kind of a job, the raw material will come in lengths of 25 feet or 50 feet. You'll have to cut it to length depending on the application. You're going to use a tube cutter to do that. After you cut the tube to length, you're going to use a file to square up the end of it, a conventional file. Then you're going to deburr the inside diameter of the pipe with a tapered reamer. Some guys use drill bits. The tapered reamer is the way to go. It does a much better job, and it mitigates the possibility of the joint not sealing properly, leaks, and what have you. These components here are actually what makes up a flaring kit. You've got the tool that holds the pipe. The inside of it is a little bit is knurled or abraded. It's got some kind of a surface in there that clamps the pipe tightly. This big guy holds the pipe. This is what manipulates the pipe. This you can actually see that it comes out. It's a forcing screw. It's actually the tool that changes the shape of the pipe for us. And then we've got these little guys, these little bobbins. I'm not sure what they're actually called, but it's what actually forms the pipe. It what actually dictates the shape that we're going to wind up with. And these guys are important. Anyways, we got through the materials, what are the tools, and we'll move forward. I'm going to take a tube cutter. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to tighten up the wing nut on it there. And I'm going to slowly go through it. After you've cut the pipe, you're going to find the interior diameter of it is reduced. It's the blade has pushed material into the inside and kind of restricted it. It'll cause us problems when we try to flare it. After you ream it, you're going to wind up with a pipe that looks like that. I'm going to go show you guys how to ream it. You got your tool here. This is the working face, the one with the numbers on it. You can see there's a little bit of a chamfer there. That's part of the surface that forms the pipe. You're going to put it in backwards. You're going to put it in from the wrong side through the working face to the other side. You can see it's just a little bit proud there. I'm going to tighten up the wing nuts moderately. I don't have to reef them up at this point. I'm going to take the reamer. And oh, too many coffees, eh? Too many coffees, got the shakes. And then I'm going to ream it out. I'm going to remove some material. I'm also while it's in this tool, I'm going to deck it. I'm going to flatten it out. I don't know if you noticed, but it wasn't a really smooth surface. If I do this, just run a file over it. Just run a file over it. And then I give it another quick dress with the reamer. Another quick dress with the reamer. I'll wind up with a pipe that I can use. There you go. It's perfect. There you go. Look at that. Nice. That's how you need the pipe what you need the pipe to look like before you get started. So after you've got it reamed and you got that little chamfer ground on it, and you've got it squared off by running the file over it, you've got it dressed, ready to go. You are actually going to start the process of manipulating the pipe. You're going to stick the pipe through into the holder. You're going to tighten up the wing nuts on it. Setting the depth is critical here. I don't know if you guys can see it well. You can actually see on this bobbin, there is a little step. That step is your height guide. And if you can see, I got it set up perfect. Right? You see the step there? I got it set up perfect. It has to be in that spot. If I have too much material sticking out, I run into problems. Or I don't have enough, I run into problems. I'm going to use that little nipple there that's sticking down, that guide pin. I'm going to drop it on top to make sure I got the right size, 3/16. There you go. And I'm going to straddle it with this tool. Next, I'm going to turn the tool in. It's critical during this step that this die remains square. It walks around a little bit. It moves or it rattles. It doesn't stay square. You can actually see me moving it there. You can see that black thing. It's critical that I keep it square. It's nice and square right now. I'm going to run it in. I'm going to turn it, tighten it up until this bobbin bottoms on the holding tool. I can't drive it any further in. It's done. Okay? It's right up there. I'm going to double check. I'm going to loosen it up. And then I'm going to check to make sure it's square and good. There you go. It's nice and square. It's in the middle. It isn't offset. Very important. If it's not centered or it's offset or it's a little bit kind of elongated or egg-shaped or anything, you have to cut it off and start over. It will not work going forward. Take the bobbin out. Done with the bobbin on this one. Spin the tool back in. And this time I'm forcing it with doing the same thing. I don't have to over torque it. Guys sometimes over torque it and they'll mash the pipe up and it will ruin it. It will ruin it. So don't run it in too tight. There you go. Done. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to inspect. I have a couple of examples of flares that will not work, of bad flares that I'm going to show you guys. So there you go. Nice. It's in the middle. It's nicely centered. It's even all. And then I put the tube nut on, and we are ready to go. There you go. Perfect. Ready to screw into a wheel cylinder, into a union, a proportioning valve, a master cylinder. Finished. Perfect. A1, guys.